Hi, heroes. I know that there have been people that have hurt you. I know that there have been people that have not supported you, have not seen you, and have caused you almost an inconsolable pain. If that's you today, then you might find some grounding, some inspiration from this video. It also may be a sign that you need an energy cleaning. You need to be uplifted. And I hope to do that for you today. I know I need it. So I've heard a few people talk on energy cleaning and kind of how to do that. So one person that I follow is a YouTuber named Aaron Doughty. And he talks about this energy strand and the way to kind of claim your energy back is to shift the focus from the person that has hurt you back onto yourself or the person that you're longing for the love and the connection and to put that energy back and that focus back on yourself. And he also teaches the frame technique, which is to feel the separation between yourself and this other person that's kind of got you by the neck, really. It's got your life. This other person has your life force energy and is slowly letting it just drain out of you because all this focus and all this attention is on the other person. So I really like the idea of feeling the separation from the person that has hurt you or caused you the most angst in your life. But when we do shadow work, which I love to talk about and I love to teach, we actually learn to feel the separation between our child, our inner child shadow, and our adult, or I like to call it our highest self, because our child growing up often didn't have a really enlightened adult model to go by. So when we start to connect to our child's shadow, we actually learn to become the adult that we didn't have showing up for us. So, one of the ways that we do this is we learn to separate from the child's shadow that is hurt, that can't let go, and rightfully doesn't really need to let go of the pain and the victimization they've felt. Because as a child, we need to have safety, security, love to thrive. And so often children, um, well, they have big feelings and they have a lot of misinterpretations and they don't have the awareness of what's going on around them. They just have the awareness of the big feelings that are going on inside of them and they don't really know how to manage that. And so here we have this child shadow that comes up when we feel hurt or victimized by somebody else. And our job is to learn how to separate from that child so that we can bring in the conscious adult, or we can bring in the divine healing of our highest self. And this is where we get the most energy cleaning that I've ever found. But it's not without really understanding and feeling the pain and the hurt that the child feels of just not having person show up for them the way that they desired, the way that they experienced love, and to help them with the misunderstandings that they're having in the connection to their feelings and the world that's going on around them. So we often feel really victimized by our partners, by life. Like you can absolutely be living in a victim place to life. And it is such a disempowered place and way to live. And I tell you, it's easy for me to slip into my victim. Um, but I can't stay there. I choose not to stay there because I feel like if anybody had the right, and many of you would probably feel this way too, to be a victim to my life, that would be me. And I could just, that would be my out is like my life sucked this shit happened and that's it. That's my pain story. I'm never going to get out. I'm never going to get out. I'm never going to have the life that I want, the love that I want. And then I'll just settle. But I won't settle. I'm not going to settle, and I won't let you settle. So last week, I got to be with my extended family as we celebrated the life of a father, a son, a brother, a husband, and a friend. And that's still been sitting with me quite a bit. I really will admit that I did not feel like celebrating this loss. It felt like a loss too soon, a very shortened life, and I wasn't really wanting to celebrate. But as I got to the celebration of life, there were kids running all around. We were having great food. There was love and there were tears. And, you know, we got to see the photos of his life. And I just felt so much love in the memory of him. And the saddest thing for me to think and realize about this was that I don't think he ever got to be out of his pain story. He never got to um, access and separate from the child who needed that love and that security and really access his truth and his power of his highest self. Because if we allow ourselves to stay in our woundings and be the victim to life, then we don't really get to claim our power. We don't get to take our power back because the child needs that love. It needs the connection. But as the child grows into a confident, embodied adult, it stops needing the mom and the dad and the approval and the safety and security of the outside world because the adult can access that from within. And so when we're staying in our victim, we are being actually taken over by our child shadow. And we are just bleeding out, throwing away our power to everyone and everything outside of us. And that causes me immense pain because our job is to become our highest self. And and the child in us gets to be loved by us and to be discovered by us. And we get to grow up and we get to become empowered. And I don't want anybody throwing their power away anymore. It's time to claim your power back. I think this is going to be a hard video for me because, uh, well, I'm emotional, but this loss really hit me because I don't think that he died really understanding the love that was felt for him. And he never got to see the love and the pain of the loss experienced by the other people that he left behind. And in a way, he was refusing his power by refusing to separate from this shadow child who needs love, to learning how to access love from within. And it was just a life lost way too soon. So I can take a minute. um, you see, he, everyone, me included, when we are stuck in our pain story, we're living as the child shadow inside of us who needs the validation and the approval and the belonging of other people to invite us to our own life, to our own purpose. And we don't need that as adults. We're not the child anymore. there is a child inside of us who's still looking for love in all of the places that probably will never show love, but never were able to in the past. And I don't like to say never, um, because the child has a very fickle expectation of love that doesn't understand love. And really, love is a very hard thing to understand, except that I know on my journey, I've been able to experience it in places that I didn't think there was love. And, you know, that, I mean, the ultimate loss for me is a life lost without experiencing the love that the child is constantly seeking outside of them. So, as we start on our awakened healing journey, we get to learn to separate from this child shadow, and we get to learn to love it. And we get to learn to meet its needs without without the survival instinct part of us, because we're no longer at the cost and the effect of what didn't happen, what did happen, what should have happened, what shouldn't have happened. We get to really reel in and own our power, which absolutely cleans and clears our energetic field. And I'm just going to take a minute and I'll come right back. Sorry, I had to take a breath. I knew I've been avoiding doing this video because I just knew that I'm going to cry. So, um, the thing is that it's so easy to lose ourselves when our focus is outside of us, on the person who did us wrong, on the person who hurt us, on the person who did us dirty. And we just lose our truth, our focus to the future. And I was doing some wallpaper removal for a client, and there was not one layer of wallpaper. There was actually 3 layers of wallpaper that I had to remove. And there was glue stuck everywhere. Parts of the wall were falling apart. And we were kind of joking with the client about, like, we won't tell anyone, don't worry, we'll just fix it up and it will look like it never happened. And this client said something to me that kind of stuck with me, that really resonated with me. And he said, we replace the past with the future, but we cannot access the future without the current now. If we don't face our pain story now, we have no direction for our future, and we will just be settling. And I don't want you to settle. I'm not gonna settle. So there is a way to access a divine love, and there is a way to access healing. But you gotta remove yourself from the other and put the focus and attention back into yourself and learn to separate from the child so that you can become divinely empowered and inspired. And you're worth that. Nope. So I took the inner power couple and I got introduced to Ho'oponopono prayer. And I might say it in the wrong order, but it goes like this: I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And it was committed to doing this prayer over and over again as a nightly meditation for quite a while. And one of the things that I realized when I did this meditation was that I am responsible for my own happiness. And believe it or not, I didn't really like hearing that. But it came as such a revelation and understanding to me, but a rude awakening as well, because I have been conditioned, like many of us, to think that happiness and satisfaction and joy, they come without pain, they come without sorrow, and they come with something outside of us, like winning the lottery or finally finding the one who will love us and cherish us and meet all our needs forever. Um, the perfect house, the perfect clothes, like the nice car, uh, anything, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And then when we put our focus on the outside of what's supposed to make us happy, we just start to feel more miserable because sometimes those things don't come, or sometimes they come and it's like, okay, that didn't do it. So now what? Now what? What's next? And I've put a lot of my happiness on my partner relationships or relationships in general, my children, and trying to find my relation or my happiness in my relationships has caused me to be really, really, really miserable. Um, and so I've gotten to learn to shift back to myself, and focus on what truly does make me happy, especially when I'm getting frustrated with the outside world, especially when I'm getting triggered. I need to shift back to me to be the author and creator of my own happiness. Because I'm telling you, the more you try to find it outside of you, the more your child shadow is going to come up really, really, really upset. And it's because the truth is that we can't find that happiness, that calm, that peace, that satisfaction in anything outside of us. And the child shadow actually knows this and understands that this is a form of self abandonment. And the pain that comes up when you feel your shadow uh, is so intense that, well, you can keep looking and trying to find your happiness in something outside of you, or you can go in and face the hurting pain of this child that has searched so long for this happiness and just hasn't found it. And you can actually connect to your child shadow, and that makes them pretty happy. And then you get to be in line with your truth and have access to your power again, and your creative self and your divine self. And it's a beautiful process, um, that allows you to clean your energetic field without the other person, without even having to feel the separation from the other person, because you're actually going so into yourself that you're feeling the separation of the pain, of the misunderstanding, that happiness comes from anything outside of you. And you're reconnecting to the love and connection and creation of what really truly inspires you and brings out love and brings out happiness. So I feel this was a little bit all over the place, and I if you resonated with this video and you're done being the victim to everything outside of you, if you are done running your pain story and being at the cost and the effect of the past and of people who have just not showed up for you, then this is your time now. Don't wait. Don't wait to access your power. Don't wait to heal, because we're not given endless amounts of time. And if you really feel like you are ready to take some action to own this pain story and to access your higher self, then I will leave my email in the comment link, and you can email me or you can send me a DM. Let's chat. Let's get going. Let's bring some inspired intention and purpose to your future by teaching you to live in the now, in the moment, in your truth, without running from your child shadow, so that you can access your highest self, your highest timeline, and have your energetic field cleared. So thank you for listening. I hope this inspired you into action, and I will talk to you soon.